Hey there, One Pride Nation. This is Zach,
And Brendan.
and we are Lions Basement Banter.
What's up, everybody? It's draft week. We're through-ish. I think we're done. Is it completely done right now?
No, we're still rolling through the 7th round, but Lions are done.
We backed out because we saw Brad Holmes at the podium on day 3 here, so we pretty much know that means we're as far as we're going to go here in the draft. So
Yeah, we're about halfway through the 7th round right now.
all right. So this will start our episode here for draft week, and we're going to run through a couple things real quick, some more important things besides the draft that happened this week in Detroit, and let's recap a couple things. First of all, I just want to shout out, and I'm going to have to do this again. It sucks that I have to say this again, but I want to shout out the old Bulge Army, the Team Lucas fundraiser they were running last week. I think they raised like 17 grand or something. And it was raffles and all this other really fun stuff. But shout out to One Pride Nation and everybody that was involved in that. That's pretty awesome when a group can come together and do something like that. So shout out to Courtney and old Brad Holmes Bulge there that were running that, and that was pretty cool, guys. Good job, real good job with that. All right, so going to the Detroit Lions team, though, we have 2 extensions, two really great extensions that happened this week. What do you think about what happened?
Well, I mean, we've got 2 cornerstones that were signed to tremendous deals, and we've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who came first, and that one was probably more expected by everyone. Has been in talks that was going to get done soon.
Mm-hmm.
He signed a 4-year extension, which will pay him just over $120 million over the life of the contract. Your salary cap hit for this coming year, though, still remains a little bit low. We're looking at about a $5 million cap hit, but then after that, he'll start boosting up and making that upwards of what is it? Upwards of $20 million a year, $25 million a year.
Yep, I think it was 30 actually.
Okay, so closer to 30.
Yeah, yep. They made him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL for like 2 days.
Yeah. Yep, and then we had A.J. Brown who got extended, and he took that over. So that's, some people might scoff at, oh, man, he's not the highest paid receiver anymore. And to me, it just shows how great of awareness that Brad Holmes has that he signed that deal, because now Amon-Ra sets the market, and everyone else is going to start putting more money on their receivers, and we're going to start looking like we stole his contract there.
Think about 4 years down the road what it's going to look like when Amon-Ra's halfway through getting a gold jacket, and he's making $30 million a year, and everybody else is at 45 or whatever it's going to be. So yeah, pretty awesome.
Then, the next one was a little bit shocking to me in terms of timing.
Yep.
Penei Sewell. This was literally like hours after Amon-Ra got his contract, I believe.
Yeah, same day. Yep.
It was within hours of that contract. They come out and say, by the way, we just signed Penei Sewell to a 4-year, $112 million deal with $85 million guaranteed, making him the highest paid offensive lineman in the league.
Yep.
And that one has remained the highest paid offensive lineman in the league
so far. We know that'll change. We know that's just kind of how that's made to happen. But anybody who questions that, anybody who questions Penei, and I haven't heard very many people since we drafted him, honestly, questioning that. But I just want to play a real quick clip here. This is Penei getting drafted by now, mind you, think about this. This is Penei getting drafted by the Detroit Lions of old. This is Penei Sewell getting drafted by a team that was let's say it for what it is, was in the dumps. Let's be honest.
Pick of the new regime.
Yep.
So we didn't know what we were going to be yet.
Right.
We
only knew what we had.
Really bad prior.
Yep. So this is what he had to say on his draft day.
I'm doing great. How are you?
And I'll just be quiet here.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. We're about to pick you here, man. Congratulations, man. Hey, it's One Pride over here, man. We put you in this pride, all right? You'll be a big part of what we're doing going forward, all right, man?
Yes, sir. You won't regret it.
Let's go!
Man, I just every time I hear that, I get shivers, man. I got goosebumps or whatever you call them right now. Like I don't know. It makes me tear up honestly, because knowing what he's become, and honestly the adversity that he had when he first got drafted here. I was one of those guys. I was like, man, seriously, we got so many needs, and we took a stinking offensive lineman with our very first pick of the new regime. What is going on? But we've since learned to trust what Brad Holmes is thinking, and that pick pretty much tells you everything you need to know about what this regime is doing. So
I wasn't mad about that pick at all when it happened. I think I was a little bit disappointed just because of the weapons that were going before us. I think maybe I wanted Micah Parsons a little bit more, but I was not upset that we got that because he was essentially touted as a sure thing, the surest thing you could get in that draft, and he was going to be a bona fide future Hall of Famer, which he has turned out to be through three years on the team, 4 years, whatever it is now. But he's a Lion through 2029 officially, and
thank goodness.
I don't think there's any debate on bad contract, whatever. I don't think you can overpay a player like that.
I'll be honest with you. If you look down this, everybody's going to have their own opinion. So, take this with a grain of salt. But if you look down the roster, if I had to pick the two that were going to be the most likely to end up in the Hall of Fame, we just extended both of them. That's how I feel about that. And like I said, everybody's going to have their own thoughts, but that's my thoughts on it. We just extended the.
I don't know if
two
Amon
most
Ra is
likely.
going to be a Hall of Famer. Does he have the chops to
He's
do it?
driven enough for it.
Yes, but you know how hard it is for wide receivers. There's so many of them that get into the Hall.
Well, I'm not saying he won't be, 185 by the time
He'll
he gets
be
in
a
there.
Lions legend. He'll be in their Ring of Honor. I just don't know if he ends up.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Both of those guys will be in the Ring of Honor. There's no doubt. I mean, they'd have to do something, off the field stupid to not end up on the in the Ring of Honor.
And I just one thing I want to throw out there is that shout out to Khalif Raymond. I don't know if you saw what he did, but just what a teammate. They have the video they posted, the Lions did, of Amon Ra exiting the facility after signing his new deal, and there were a bunch of Lions guys out there with balloons and spraying him with silly string, and then he popped a bottle of champagne outside. That was all organized by Khalif Raymond, and Amon Ra said during his press conference that he's one of, or the best teammate that he's ever had is Khalif Raymond. So
I just, you can see it. It's cold in the basement, I'll be honest, but this isn't because I'm cold. The culture that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes and Sheila Hamp are building here is just it. I've waited for this crap for such a long time, man. I'm so thankful. And then we get the draft.
Yeah. So let's move into the main reason why we're here. Get off of the old guys. Let's talk about the youngins.
Yeah.
We just wrapped up the NFL draft. The 7th round is, like we said, ongoing, but we know the Lions will not be picking anymore because
they did some trades.
Brad Holmes came to the podium when the 7th round started, essentially. So we know they're done and they've gotten their guys.
Yeah.
So let's get to our reactions. Kick off with round 1. We're gonna start with their first round pick, of course, and originally picking 29. We got a little bit of a surprise, and Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell showed they are not scared to move if they like somebody.
Right. Yep. And I was honestly shocked with who we traded with. I know that you're giving them something. I get that, but there's a little bit of animosity. It doesn't matter who you are when there's rivalries and whatever else happens. And I was shocked that it was the Dallas Cowboys we traded. So we traded up. We were at 29. Mm-hmm. We traded up. We took 24, and we also gave them a 3rd round, number 74 this year. So we basically got rid of our 3rd round pick for it. We went and got Terrion Arnold.
Yeah, DB out of Bama. If you've been following us on our X account, and if you're not, you should be. We posted a lot of good stuff out there.
That's a good call.
We both gave kind of our top 5 guys prior to the draft kicking off on Thursday night.
Oh, this is where you come in and brag. That's what it is.
No, it's not, because I didn't pick him.
Oh, okay.
Neither
I thought
of
you
us
did.
did.
My bad.
Neither of
My
us
bad.
did.
I forgot.
No,
All right.
what I'm saying is we each gave our top 5 guys, and I think I had one corner on there, maybe 2, I can't remember. But my top target has always been Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I think this draft fell. You had cornerback 1 was probably Terrion Arnold, and then I think cornerback 1B
Very close. That was a
Quinion
close
Mitchell.
race. Yeah. Yep.
So the reason I wanted Quinion Mitchell originally is because I thought he would be, if things were starting to fall where defensive players were starting to fall, I thought he would be the most easily accessible to trade up for.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that that's not how it went.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Obviously, what a historic start to the draft. I don't think anyone saw 14 straight offensive players coming off the board, with 6 of them being quarterbacks.
And that was weird. And then the well ran dry for 100 picks or whatever it was.
I'm not even joking. I was like, I felt like a giddy little schoolgirl. I'll say that.
He was wearing the skirt. And
When
everything.
I saw Atlanta pick Michael Penix, I was like, no shot. No shot.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, somebody's going to start falling, and we're going to get somebody at 29.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Broncos took Bo Nix at 12. And I'm sitting there going,
Yeah.
there is still not a defensive player off the board. And I looked ahead, and I was like, I know the next 2 teams need offensive players. And possibly the Colts could have taken an offensive player. We know that didn't happen, but 15 is where the defense starts coming off the board, and I'm sitting there thinking, there's no way every team in front of us is going to take one.
Right.
So we get to Philly at 22,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I think I texted you. I said, realistically, I think the first area where a corner could go would be Pittsburgh at 20. They went offensive line.
Yep.
The next
Shockingly.
spot,
I mean, I know
yeah.
they needed it, but that was surprising.
The next spot I told you I thought was going to be Philly would need a corner, so we had to either get in front of them or, move at some point.
Yep.
We had to do something, and they took Quinion Mitchell, and I was a little bit in the dumps because I was like, okay, well now I know Terrion Arnold's going because he's the next guy.
Well, I was in the dumps because Philadelphia is a godforsaken place, and it sucks that he went there. I hate Philadelphia, you guys.
Yep.
All the way through this draft, it just made it worse and worse.
But then we get to Dallas at 24, and we see a little bit of Honolulu blue roll across the screen.
Yeah, it was awesome to see that helmet come rolling
Yeah.
in, man.
And you knew right away who they were going for. There was no question once that rolled across that it was Terrion Arnold.
Yep.
And you had gone up to bed at this point, not to sleep, but you were watching upstairs separate from me.
Yeah, I
And
went
you
into
said-
work early, so I was-
you said you heard a little something from downstairs.
well, so like to tell the story, all right, so like I had gone to work early that morning, so I was like, man, I can't make it. I will be watching this, but I can't I can't stay up anymore. I'm a baby. So we're both on separate TVs. Brendan's downstairs watching it. I'm upstairs watching it, and my TV has like a 5-second delay because I'm so far away from the internet. So the buffering or whatever, I'm not going to get into that, but there's like a 5-second delay. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, what the heck? All of a sudden, all I hear is like, I'm just like, oh boy, the Lions are coming, man. Here we go.
That was me clapping after Arnold when they had announced Arnold. So you should have known they were on the board.
Yeah, I think it was close though. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember, but it was just like, I think I knew they were on the board, but yeah, it was one of those things where I just heard you clapping downstairs and I'm like, it must be someone good, I guess. I don't know. I thought
There
you were
was
excited
no
we
way
got a
we
kicker.
were getting them. That's why I didn't put him on my wish list.
Yeah.
Is because I thought there was absolutely no shot he was going to be available. I thought first 12 picks he's gone.
Well, dude, I mean,
We got a dog. We got a blue chip player in the back half of the first
We did.
round.
So I'm gonna play a little bit. I mean, we've got a full video of his highlights. I'm gonna play a little bit. We're not really gonna. I mean, we can talk through it if you need to, but we'll just play some of this here. And I apologize to you guys. I had clicked on it a little prematurely earlier, but we're back onto it now.
You guys see that play? Dog.
Yeah. And you're gonna see that with pretty much. I mean,
Dog.
jumped. Yep. He had 5 picks this year, just so you guys know.
That's the name. You think you're doing something against him? Dog.
And that's the thing, like he's watching. I mean, his ball. I mean, that wasn't even ball tracking. His ball tracking is good, and even here, he didn't even look back, and he still played the ball perfectly. So he's a good player. He's a really good player. I don't see. Wow, his coverage is awesome. That's against a very good player, just so you guys know. I think that was Brock Bauer.
No, that's Lad McConkey.
Oh, it was McConkey. Okay. Yep.
By the way, Lad McConkey.
Sorry, I just saw
As
a white
Los
guy for
Angeles
Georgia.
Charger, congratulations to Jim Harbaugh. Got himself the white stallion.
He ended up with him, and he ended up with Brendan Rice.
Yep. Brendan Rice did go to him in 7.
You guys, I mean, but look at this. I mean, we're gonna click off of this here, but I mean, just look at the strength, look at the willingness to get in there, and you know, he's not even in coverage there. Oh man, he's awesome.
Well, let's talk about him first. We'll give a quick rundown because we've got some guys to get through here. We don't want to keep you guys here for your entire day.
But we got. I mean, he is the first round pick, so we got something special we want to show them.
Yeah. But we're gonna. I mean, the only knock that was on Terrion Arnold, and he was pretty much consensus the number 1 corner in the draft. I think you had preference between him and Quinyon.
Yep.
The one knock against him is he's not that fast. He's fast. He's not gonna beat you in a foot race, though.
Yeah, but I'm not. I don't pretend to be a defensive back specialist, and at any rate, the one thing I will say is if you watch those clips that we watched, the highlights, he's got really, man, you are gonna say pause on this. He's got really good hips. Knew it.
Hey,
See, look at that face. Look at that face. But he can turn around. He can get to this. Stop with that, man. I see it.
He's got good closing speed.
Yes, and I mean, yeah, you threw me all off. But yeah, what I want to do here is go into the clip of when they actually picked him. And the draft was in Detroit, right?
Yep.
So we traded up.
We knew it was going to be wild with whoever they decided to pick.
275,000 people strong. Were they all Lions fans? No. But a lot of them were.
Most of them. If you looked at that camera, I would say you probably got out of every 10 people, I'd say 8 of them were Lions fans.
Listen, I'm gonna reel out for a second here. So Brendan and I don't live in Detroit. So I'm gonna say my city. I hope you guys don't hate us for that. What I'm saying is my city that my sports play in. I love my city. The city of Detroit showed out. I mean, you guys, dude, so many times the people were thanking you guys, and you could tell it wasn't just scripted on a teleprompter. There were people up there saying Detroit, you guys are awesome. So big ups to Detroit. I love my city. I love the Lions. I love what you guys do there. I love it. Good job. Great job. So, but what we were getting at there is it's in Detroit, so realistically it makes sense to have Terrion Arnold come out, and he was one of the last ones picked in that green room on day 1. And he came out and he did a little something to the crowd or for the crowd. So let's see that clip real quick.
I just want to say, Detroit, look out! Y'all got to start, man. Hey, I'm home, man. I'm home. Hey, these fans gonna be crazy, man. Golly.
That's gratitude. I mean, you can see it on his face. He is genuinely happy to be playing in Detroit.
You didn't even get the best part of the clip, and that was him grabbing the mic away from
I did cut that out a little
girl.
bit. A little short.
The lady on the stage was trying to interview him. She asked him a question, and he just reaches over and grabs the mic, and she's kind of holding on to it, and then she just accepts it, and he pulls it away. And they said, they were saying on the thing, there couldn't have been a better player for them to pick there, have come across the stage because of his personality. no one else would have grabbed the mic like that. That's just Terrion Arnold.
And for him to sit there and say, I'm home, and look at the Lions crowd and say, I'm home with that smile. First of all, the dude's got a polarizing smile. He's a cool-looking dude, but
A contagious smile.
That's what I would say, yes. And I'm thankful that he looks so happy to be here. You look at some of the other players. I mean, look at what Kool-Aid McKinstry looked like. And I know a lot of these guys are like not happy to be at a place. It might be their personality. It might be the fact that they dropped or whatever. Like Kool-Aid dropped out of the first round. He wasn't happy. But man, I'm glad that we see guys that are super excited. So like, there'll be another one. I'm not gonna divulge his name right now because we're still going through this. But there's another one later in the draft, and we don't have the clip of it yet. But people are excited to come play for Detroit, and that's big ups to this front office and the staff that we have here because they are obviously making people excited to come play here. So, yeah.
So, Will, did you give up what we traded there? I don't remember if you said.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yep. So we got rid of our third rounder next year.
Yeah. So, and I had a little something I wanted to touch on there actually. I saw a couple people that weren't like super excited about Arnold at first, because they thought they're still on the L'Jarius Sneed train, and I think that might shock you a little bit that I saw that, but there were a couple people that saw that. But I want to just point out something. All right, so we basically traded with the Cowboys for cash assets. I alluded to that in one of our X posts, and this is what I was talking about. So essentially, we gave up a third and a first round, but we got a first round back. So essentially, all we gave up was a third round pick for this guy, right? What did L'Jarius Sneed go for? A third round pick. So you could argue, well, are we sure that Terrion Arnold is going to be as good or better than L'Jarius Sneed because they were essentially the same value? All right, hold on a second.
How much are you paying L'Jarius Sneed compared to what you're paying Terrion Arnold?
Right there. So there's a very good chance that Terrion Arnold is just as good as L'Jarius Sneed, based on what we've seen. I'm not saying that that's going to necessarily happen, but it could get there. We've got him for 4 years on what they're saying should be around a $14.3 million deal with a fifth-year option. The Titans owe L'Jarius Sneed over the next 4 years $76.4 million.
Yeah.
So, guys, we stole him. We need to look at it that way. We stole the dude. We did. We stole him. So,
yep. All right, let's
next.
You good? Yeah, let's roll off Terrion Arnold. We know who he is. Sure thing. First rounder. He deserved that pick.
Now here's one that shocked me.
Yeah, this one was a little bit of a shocker to I think every single Lions fan out there. After hearing Brad Holmes in the offseason say that defense or going into the draft, he said cornerback wasn't a need. That doesn't mean it wasn't a want.
Smoke and mirrors.
He ended up, we had only 1 second round pick, so we're sitting at 61.
Mm-hmm.
I think there were a lot of Lions fans that thinking they might move up or move down or something. They stay put, and things are rolling, and players are falling.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of people falling. And we get to 61, and there's a slew of players there. And I think you were rooting for a guy that actually went right before us, and that was Marshawn Kneeland out of Western Michigan.
I was high on Marshawn Kneeland, yes.
He went like 5 picks before us. And then I think a lot of Lions fans wanted Chris Braswell after that to get another edge, and he was out of Bama. He went right after Kneeland.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're sitting here and we're like, I'm thinking, maybe
wide
we
receiver,
take Panay's cousin, the offensive tackle, Kingsley. Not even gonna try to pronounce his last name, out of BYU.
Something or other.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe that's where they go. Maybe they like the pedigree there, and they end up taking another corner. They double down and they take Ennis Rakestraw Jr. out of Mizzou. I was shocked, and I will say at first a little bit disappointed until I'm sitting there thinking, wait a second. He was consensus like a top 5 corner in this draft. We just got 2 top 5 corners in the draft with our first 2 picks, and we really didn't have to give up much to do it.
Right. I threw my hat. I'll be completely honest with you guys. First snap reaction was I threw my hat because what led up to that was essentially Marshawn Nealon went off the board like almost right before we picked. Honestly, it was close. And so I'm like, well, all right, well, we'll do like we did last year. It's going to be defense, offense, or whatever. And I'm sitting here thinking, man, if we don't get a wide receiver right now, we don't have a pick until at that point it was the 5th round, I think. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, man, all right, it's time. Let's grab an X. Let's be good to go with this. And then I see Rakestraw come across the board. and I was just shocked. Honestly, it wasn't anger. I wasn't upset. I wasn't questioning the pick. I was just shocked, honestly. Then I started thinking, if we go back a couple of episodes, I sat and said, what is one of the biggest glaring needs that I feel the Lions have? I know you said there aren't any, which is good. I mean, you're right. I mean, that's true. But if there were any needs, what were they?
Cornerback.
We got some studs at cornerback. We got 2 guys that could have very well gone in the top 15 in my opinion, if they were needed at different places.
Well, Ennis Rakestraw was mocked as high as, he was always kind of mocked as a late first rounder, but he was mocked to the Lions at 29 multiple times. He was mocked to the Ravens at 30 multiple times. And all in that area, I've seen him mocked there. So it wasn't a stretch for him to go in the first round. It just wasn't the way the board was falling.
Right.
We saw a lot of emphasis on offensive line in this draft early, a lot on wide receivers, quarterback, and then
Sorry,
there's
man, I got allergies so bad.
That's okay. The only way I thought they could have gone with that second round pick otherwise would be edge rusher, but this class is just not deep at edge rusher. There was maybe I would have been okay with Braylon Trice maybe there. I think anyone else would have been a stretch. So not mad about it. I thought maybe offensive guard once we took the first corner. I was thinking we'll get some offensive line help, maybe a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to be mad at us getting Ennis Rakestraw after what we saw be done to our secondary the last 5-6 weeks of the season, including playoffs. I mean, every single receiver was putting up close to 150 or more yards on us with one or multiple touchdowns.
Well, I'm gonna steal a point that you made during the draft while we were watching, and I'm going to piggyback off of it. I believe it was you actually. I don't know. I was on X a lot too, but the point I believe you made was we will not be seeing Kendall Vildor make it out of camp.
I don't know if I said I was more joking when I said that.
But hold on. I guess I shouldn't say it's not gospel. I get that, it was a joke, but I also saw somebody say the same thing, to piggyback off of that. What somebody else said on X, just to kind of build off of it, I guess, is Kendall Vildor will most likely not be playing meaningful snaps in an NFC championship game. We don't have Cam Sutton, and I'm just going to tell you guys, say it for what it is, whatever he's got going on. Cam Sutton, in my mind, was not the right fit for us. He did not do what we hoped he did. He didn't do it. I mean, if there's Cam stands out there, whatever, come at me, but he was not what we wanted him to be. So we right there just got stronger at cornerback, way stronger, because we've already got, Amik and Carlton Davis, both that are waiting in the wings, and these guys are going to learn from Carlton Davis too. I mean, remember, this dude is a Super Bowl champion that they're coming into in the same camp with. Yeah. So I'm stoked, man. I'm happy. Well, that was good first 2 rounds.
And Brad Holmes was stoked, and my favorite quote from him was he said, he essentially, I don't know if this is direct, but he said along the lines of, Rakestraw just exudes dog. When you look at him, you just say dog.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about if we were going to clip that or not, but I think it was more fun for you to point out that's what he said. So, we're not going to show Rakestraw. We've got a couple of other guys that are we'll have highlights and stuff later. Rakestraw is kind of one of those more known guys, so we're not going to show his highlights, but we've got a couple other guys that we chose, and so I think what we do now is we get into the next one.
Yeah. We obviously don't have any third round picks.
We
We
sat for
got
a
rid of
long
that
time.
to move up to get Arnold, so we don't have a third round pick.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking maybe Brad moves back in. We sat there. He ended up getting on the press conference early, like he did tonight. So we knew it was over. So we move into day 3. So we've got 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounds to work with.
Mm-hmm.
We had 4 picks going in, I believe, right? A 5th,
Yep.
2 6th, and a 7th.
Yep.
We're sitting there in the 4th round, and sure enough, the Jets get up with a 126th pick in the 4th round here, and they flash across Honolulu Blue again.
We love it. We love seeing it.
Yep, Brad Holmes trades up, and I'm sitting. Both you and me are sitting here thinking, wide receiver.
Again.
This is wide receiver or offensive guard, right?
Yep.
I'm thinking in the back of my mind, there's one guy that I knew that they wanted that maybe they get here because he had other interests, and that was Sione Vaki.
Yep.
It wasn't him either. They trade up. They get a offensive tackle out of British Columbia, Giovanni Manu. And if you guys remember, a few episodes back, I'm going to toot my own horn a little bit. I told you guys that there was a guy that was a Dan Campbell guy that there were a lot of teams interested in, and they just squeezed in a visit with him. It was Giovanni Manu, who stands 6'8", 350 pounds at offensive tackle.
He's a big
He
dude.
is a big guy. I think while we talk, you might as well just go ahead and roll the highlights, and we'll just kind of talk while they're playing, and you can see what he looks like. Manu, just an absolute monster.
This, by the way, is him playing guard. He's inside on this play.
Yep.
But just look at, he owned him.
Yeah, we did hear in the post-game or the post-draft presser today that Campbell was talking about evaluating his film, and it was tough to evaluate because the competition he goes up against here is not like top tier. It's pretty low level, he said. But he sees him. He kind of did allude to the fact that it's kind of the same thing as a Broderick Martin was last year, where his ceiling is so incredibly high that they felt comfortable taking him there.
Do they do something different over there or up there, I guess, in Canada, where I'm seeing him lined up at guard a lot. Look at this. Well,
they might
yeah,
just
he's
have an
he's
extra
lined up
guy
as
on the
guard.
end of the line, jumbo package. It might be what
That might be what they're
doing.
doing. I just see him lined up there next to the center quite a bit. But it doesn't matter where he's at. He's knocking guys over. He's there. He goes again. He's pushing the line.
Yeah.
That was on a run play, so you see that he's doing things on the run and pass. So good stuff.
Well, like I said, he's kind of going to be a project guy. He's going to have some polishing to do. Holmes talked about the fact that he's probably not going to see a lot of playing time right away, but he said, a year down the road, 2 years down the road, if he's developing, then he's going to be an absolute monster.
Yeah, and we also heard in his press conference, just literally like minutes before we came on here, we heard, like you said, they brought him in for a visit, and he was visiting a lot of people. Brad Holmes said he barely squeaked him in for a visit. He came in on a Sunday, and he had like 9 visits before the Lions. And this is the guy that I was talking about earlier, that his phone call was pretty awesome. That's 2 guys in this draft that I saw. Basically, they answer the phone, they talk, and then they go to their family or their party or whoever's with them, and they say, it's the Lions. And it's like excitement, like boom, everybody blows up. So stoked. That's a big dude.
Yeah.
Skipper, he might be in jeopardy, I'll be honest with you.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, because Manu might be a guy that they I don't think he can go down to the practice squad.
Whoa, hold on. I just realized something.
What?
Here's what's about to happen. First of all, I was saying Skipper after this year. That's what I was saying. But I just realized what Dan Campbell's thinking. I think his brainwaves just like came like this to me. Penei Sewell is now a tight end.
No, he did not.
Just
I'm just thinking. I'm sitting here thinking, they like Manu. There's no way they can drop Broderick Martin. It was a little bit safer to drop him onto the practice squad because there weren't a lot of teams that were like gunning for him.
right.
Manu is a unicorn of a player. you cannot let him go down to the practice squad because somebody will grab him.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
yeah, I can see that.
He's just going to take development time. He'll be on the 53 man, I would guess. But he's gonna just be one of those reserve guys in case they need. They might get him some snaps here and there, but it's not gonna be anything too extensive. And while we're talking about him, we'll talk about you want to bring up the compensation on what we had to do to move up into the 4th round to get him.
Yeah. So first of all, what you were just saying there, he will get some snaps because you think about him in the jumbo package, like goal line packages and stuff like that. That dude's gonna be on the line. You don't not use him and his size, when you're trying to run it in. Anyway,
do you have the what they traded in order to get him? Because I see we have the next guy that we have.
Yes. Let me see here. Yeah, so we traded a 2025 third round pick.
Oh, okay.
To the Jets.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. So we dropped out, but Brendan made a really good point.
Wait.
You want to steal it?
Well, no. Before you say it, I saw somebody say that we are not projected to get any compensatory picks next year, despite losing Jonah Jackson. I thought maybe we might replace that third, but it looks like that might not be happening.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah, Brendan made a decent idea, but it was stupid in the end.
Apparently, I'm an idiot. But moving on, we were like, okay, 4th round, cool. So we didn't lose any picks this year, so we're still picking 4 more times.
Yeah.
We'll just wait till the 5th rolls around.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I think it was like six
picks later. Yep.
The Philadelphia Eagles are up, and they were wheeling and dealing all weekend.
Like the Philadelphia Eagles do.
Howie Roseman's kind of MO, right? They come up to pick at 132, and the Honolulu Blue rolls across the screen again. And I think both you and I were like, what the heck?
Why? Yeah, what happened here? But yeah.
And then we're both thinking again, wide receiver, offensive guard.
Yep.
And I think I said to you, Sione Vaki.
I think that was the second pick in a row that you said that.
I did, yeah. I had mentioned that it was a possibility, but
yeah.
I think after the second time we traded in, I was like, that's got to be him. I hadn't heard.
But wait, there's more. The surprises didn't end there.
What are you talking about?
What position did he get drafted as?
so Vaki, first of all, we'll start with they traded with Philly. They got pick 132 and pick 210 in this year's draft. The Philadelphia Eagles picked up 164 from us in 201 and a 4th rounder in 2025, which is, funny enough, the exact pick that we had acquired from Philadelphia earlier.
Yep.
So it was kind of just we gave them their pick back next year, but that's whatever. We picked Sione Vaki out of Utah.
Yep.
He's a hybrid, I guess you could call. He played safety in college, but he was also a running back and a core special teamer as well.
Yep. We got a slash.
Yeah. He got drafted, though, as a running back, not as a safety, as a running back.
And because of that, I think I actually grabbed his highlights, and I actually grabbed his running back highlights because that's what we drafted him as. Now, when we show these highlights, I also want to point out that there's a very good chance, I think we both realize this, there's a very good chance that this guy's a special teamer primarily, regardless of if he's a safety or a running back. So yeah, I think it was a good pick, but let's see his highlights real quick.
Yeah, well, it was a good pick in my opinion. I think it was I don't want to say good pick. Let me backtrack that. It was an intriguing pick. And if you hear Brad Holmes talk about the pick, he said he went to bed after day 2, and he was kind of sitting there thinking,
See what's going on in the background. You're trying not to laugh.
You're an idiot. So he's sitting here, saying he went to bed night 2. He was thinking, we're not going to trade up into round 4. There's no reason. He said he woke up the next morning and he could not stop thinking about Manu and Rocky. And he said he got in touch with Dan Campbell and was talking to him, and Dan Campbell said those are the exact 2 players.
Well, there you go.
And so they were like, we're just gonna get him. We're gonna go get him.
Which there was another one, but so let's get out of the highlights and switch back, and I'll show you my reaction as soon as I saw what Vaki brings to the table. So here we go. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, baby. Let's go. Yeah, Lions Super Bowl 2025. We got it. It's in. We're done.
I'm hoping when you drink the Kool-Aid, it has the same effect as it does for the Colts.
I threw you right off because
You're an idiot.
I pulled off of the camera real quick and I was changing my shirt about as fast as
Yeah,
I
I was
could.
wondering what was happening. He was over here stripping down, and I was wondering what kind of show this was about to be.
I was trying to get back on the camera before it ended up being me without a shirt on.
So we get Vaki, and
Let's go.
Holmes made it clear in his post-game presser that he is a running back,
Yep.
and they are going to use him more so on special teams. He said the way that the kickoff has shifted has kind of made him stand out even more to them. They really want to see what he can do in the return game and all three phases, what he can do, but they said primarily running back and special teams is what he's going to be, which if he makes his mark on special teams, he might just be one of those guys they keep for special teams, but then they can use as a running back, which might not spell the danger you think it does for Craig Reynolds or Bam Knight.
First thing I said was Craig Reynolds, and I think you did throw out Bam Knight there, but I don't know. You just never know. I mean, running backs are a position that there's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of things that go on with that, and there's game planning based on who you're playing every week and everything. So Jamal Agnew 2.0. Here we go. That's what I think. That's what we both think.
I think he could be a similar guy, just a gadget player that they can use wherever they want to use him. I told you, funny enough, I said, well, Jalen Reeves-Maybin's got to be kind of happy because he's got a whole new target to be throwing to on fake punts.
Yep, we're going to have Jalen Reeves-Maybin as our quarterback 3, and then we also have Panay as our tight end 3. So we're good. We're all set, guys. This draft has really helped us a lot.
Yep. So with those two trades, we move back, or we move into round 5, and we don't have any picks. And
boring.
They did not trade up. So we were sitting there thinking maybe they would trade up, maybe they were trading up. They didn't trade up. I think both of us were just like, they've traded up so much.
It's going to happen again.
They're just going to do it.
Right. Yeah. So they were sitting on 2 6-round picks, and I think you and I were both kind of like throwing around the idea, okay, do they go in late into the 5th round, throw both of those 2 6s at it, or do we get in the early 6?
They had those 2 6 and the 7th, right?
Yep.
They still had 3 picks left, so I'm like, okay, cool. So wide receiver, offensive guard, maybe an edge if someone's there. Maybe they go defensive, line interior if they love somebody.
Yep.
So we're sitting there, and we roll into the 6th round. They didn't do anything in the 5th. We're like, okay, whatever.
They're going to trade up, though. That's what we kept thinking.
So both of us are sitting here watching, and we're both, I think we're both looking at a few players, and they were wide receivers. And you go ahead and elaborate. You can talk about the guys that you were kind of hoping, seeing them fall, and who you were hoping they were going to grab.
Well, you were hoping for Polk, I think, or that was one that you said was realistic at least.
Jalen Polk out of Washington, I thought, was one that we could have snagged.
Yep, the 2 that were available there that I had mock draft in separate mocks, but I really, really wanted to see one of these guys in a Lions uniform. We had Johnny Wilson was still available out of Florida State. He's that 6'7" receiver that I said looks really, really good in pads. He looks almost like a Calvin Johnson build. I know I keep going back to that, and people are probably pissed about me saying that, but he really does. He's got that same build. I was hoping for him. And then they had Brendan Rice, who was there out of USC. And I want to apologize for my mock drafts because they sucked this year, to be completely honest with you. TJ Tampa was not a first rounder, was not a second rounder, was not a third rounder. He just kept going back and back. So I felt bad, man. I really liked TJ Tampa, but he ended up falling right out. So happy with the cornerbacks we got, though. But anyway.
I was actually wrong. Somebody said, for some reason on the broadcast, they said Jalen Polk was available. He went in the 2nd round.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know why they told me he was available when he wasn't, but they did.
Listen, this is why we're better than Adam Schefter.
It wasn't Schefter. It was ESPN's
freaking
group they had set at the table. They were mixing stuff up all night with like, oh, he just went to the Rams, and they didn't go to the Rams. But no. So we're sitting there thinking wide receiver. We're both kind of. I was like, Johnny Wilson would be nice. If they don't go Johnny Wilson, maybe Brendan Rice. If they don't go Brendan Rice, Jalen Polk. I would be okay with any of those guys. And they just keep going and going and going, and they're sitting there. Then we get to our first 6th-round pick, and Johnny Wilson's already off the board.
Barely.
Yep, a few picks before Philly grabs him.
Yep.
So we're sitting there, and
Brendan Rice. It's got to be Brendan Rice, right?
Well, we're sitting there waiting for ours to come around, and we originally were at 205, right?
Yep.
We get a little bit of Honolulu Blue roll across the screen again. Another trade up. This time we moved up. I don't remember who we moved up with. I'm not sure what the team was, but we move up to 189.
Houston.
Okay, with Houston. Yep. We move up 189.
We did a preseason handshake with the team that will be shaking our hands when we're holding the Lombardi Trophy.
Okay. Anyway, trade away
Mark it
pick
down.
205, and we gave them our 7th-round pick as well this year, and we got pick 189. I'm sitting here, we're both thinking probably wide receiver, maybe offensive guard. Again, like the same ones we've been thinking for the last few rounds.
And I said, man, if they get a kicker, I'm going to be really pissed off at this pick.
Well, I thought,
but they were starting to come off the board.
I thought kicker maybe, but they weren't starting to come off the board quite yet. That was the next pick. But
yep, that was 210.
Yep,
my bad.
So with 189, we ended up grabbing an interior lineman, and that's Mekhi Wingo. He was out of LSU. Guy that I talked about, again, I think I talked about when we were in our combine episodes. We were talking about kind of our standout performers and some guys that stood out, and I said he was kind of a freak athlete. He ran the fastest 10-yard split on his 40-yard dash and the second fastest 40 time of defensive tackles at the combine.
Yeah, and I just see something here. I apologize, you guys, for the spelling error on Mekhi Wingo's name there. But anyway, it's not that big of a deal. Just point it out.
So we get the defensive interior, which is nice. We've got another tool there. But the thing that you also talked about was maybe he could play a little bit of edge as well.
Yeah, and you said you were seeing that. You said somebody, they said that on the broadcast, actually, that one of his upsides was that he is able to push people around and get around the edge when he plays edge pretty well. So I almost wonder, because we're looking pretty good at defensive tackle, I almost wonder if he might play another slash role for us. So.
Well, I just said, we obviously have McNeil. And we have Reeder, and we have Broderick Martin.
Yep.
We lost Benito, so we kind of going to stick him in the rotation of defensive tackle. But I also think, I think you're going to get a little bit of a kind of a Frank Kaminsky, I'm thinking basketball. John Kaminsky.
It's all right, man. He's a slam dunk pick. That's what Brendan was saying, just so you guys know.
So John Kaminsky. I think he could play kind of that same thing. Kaminsky plays inside. He plays outside. He does a little bit of both. Brad Holmes just said he likes the way that he rushes the passer. He just said he's relentless, which is a good thing. And he
put him wherever you want on the line. He's going to push through.
He was being touted as a steal. He was not expected to be there in the 6th round.
Yeah. So I just want to point that out real quick. First of all, Brad Holmes. You guys, here we go again. It's 2024, and we're doing this again. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just want to point it out. Terry and Arnold at 24. They said, oh my gosh, that's a steal. I can't believe he made it that far. Ennis Rakestraw at 61. I heard, oh my gosh, I can't believe he was available. We grabbed him. Oh my goodness, that was a steal. Then we go down to Sion Vaki. They were a little surprised that he was there. He was in that range, but he was on the bottom of what they thought he would be. And then we go to Mekhi Wingo, and boom, here we are saying this was a steal in the draft again. Oh my gosh.
Well, here's what I'm going to challenge you on a little bit is I don't think in my opinion I don't think Vaki or Manu were steals.
Okay.
I think they reached a little bit on Manu because they knew the interest he had and they just wanted to get him. They thought maybe that's the ceiling of where he was going to start going.
Okay. Yep, I agree with that one. Yep.
Vaki, Holmes talked about in the presser too. If any of you listened, he talked about the fact that they didn't know if they were going to need to move up for him or what was going to happen, but he said they just did it, and he said that he's glad they did because he said you get the answers to the test afterwards with the draft, and he said if we didn't move up, he would have been gone.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm saying is he was right in that range where we weren't getting him if we didn't move. That's what I was saying with Baki.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying we stole him, I guess. I was just saying, he was a good pick, and we got lucky to get him at that spot.
So, in my opinion, and we're going to move into the last one, but
let's look at Mikey Wingo while you're talking.
yeah,
Go ahead.
Okay. So, in my opinion, these last two picks, Mikey Wingo and the guy I'm about to bring up in a second, if we get through this, they kind of make up for the two picks prior, because we got two guys way after they were predicted to go. So, maybe the two guys before were a little bit of a reach for some, but when you get two steals after that, I think you can jump. Yeah. They got two guys that they wanted, that they liked, and you can't go wrong with that. Especially fourth round or later, you're really getting into the range of role player guys that are going to be. They have the potential to be good, but they're going to take some growth, a little bit of growth to get there. Mm-hmm. You have like the oddballs that don't, like Amon-Ra,
first down to Philly,
Nakua last year, but it's not often that you get like a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round pick that are going to be immediate impact guys.
Right. Yep. I mean, even the guys that end up, like you're saying, immediate impact, even the guys that end up showing up, James Houston, nobody ever expected him to be where he was. Honestly, we filled a need with him partway through the season, and he just showed out. I mean, we didn't expect that. Yeah.
So we'll move into our last guy here. We stayed put at 210. Our last pick of the draft was 210 in the 6th round, and we actually were right this time, and they went offensive guard, the best probably BPA. Top of Mel Kiper's list when we were watching was Christian Mahogany. He's a guard off. I don't know if it's Mahogany or Mahoney. I heard some guy at the Lions presser say Mahoney, and whatever it is. But essentially, he's a guard out of Boston College. A little bit on the smaller side in terms of height, a little bit undersized. Not terribly undersized though. He's got great explosion. He's got great quickness, great agility.
Against this excellent Florida State team.
Tyrone Bishop is just one of those guys that's going to
gain of 32 all the way to the 43.
Yeah, and like you're saying, he's a guy that is a project possibly. Maybe they get him in I don't know. What do you mean by undersized? I guess
height a little bit lower on the weight side too, but not bad.
Okay, I mean you get him in there, you beef him up with an NFL weight room, and it's one of those things. I mean he's a late-ish 6th round pick, mid 6th round pick I guess, and he middle 6th round pick. You can't say mid anything anymore. It just seems like I'm calling him out, but yeah, exactly. That's why I stopped for a second. But you hope to find something out of him, but you expect that it's possible he doesn't make any time. I guess get any time.
And I'm going to contradict myself a little bit because Mahogany, whatever it is. He was kind of he like we said, he was a steal. He was kind of predicted to go a little bit, maybe 3rd round.
Yeah.
He didn't go there obviously, but I don't think he's one of these project players. I'm going to say that right now. I think he needs to be polished a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I think he's a guy that if somebody goes down on that offensive line, like 35-year-old Kevin Zeitler, who's playing at a high level, he missed like 3 or 4 games last season when he's playing with the Ravens.
Yep.
If he needs to come in for that guy, he can absolutely
fill in. Yeah, yep.
And we've also got Colby Sorsdahl, who we drafted last year, that can step in. So the depth on the offensive line is looking really good.
Yeah.
Which is great after losing Jonah Jackson. We've reached the end of our pick, so that's where we're at. We got 6 new players?
Yeah. Yep.
6 new guys. At least I would say 3 out of the 6, maybe 4, are going to be fighting for meaningful snaps.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm happy. I think there's a lot of strife right now among Lions fans.
There is every year this time. Yeah, every year. And it's every fan base. It's not just the Lions.
I just want to like tell you or go on a little bit of a tangent here. Like, how many times do you have to see Brad Holmes' pick succeed regardless of where he took them? He's a positional villain, as we saw.
Let's go.
How many times do we have to see these guys succeed, no matter where they were taken, for us to have faith in what he's doing? You guys are not NFL scouts. We are not NFL scouts. We have
Good
no
Lord, if we would have picked what I
idea.
picked. Woof.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
have no idea who these guys are and what their actual talent level is. You can see what they do on tape, but that doesn't spell the whole story. They
Right.
know them as people. They know, they talk to their coaches, I'm sure. They know what their work ethic is like, and that stuff matters apart from the, intangibles.
Yeah.
Most guys are going to have those traits that you need physically.
Yeah.
But are they going to be, mentally strong? Are they going to work their tail off?
How was their interviews behind doors? How did they feel when they were up against adversity and people were asking them questions and they didn't know what the heck they were going to say, and all that stuff? That's big. It's character.
I see people getting there's like people that are disagreeing, and that's okay. You can disagree with his picks.
Somebody really wanted an edge rusher.
You can don't even. We're gonna you can disagree with their picks. That's fine, but don't go in here saying how awful we did in the draft. Just say I think maybe we should have done this, but I'm just gonna trust what he did.
We're going back to the last episode, guys. We don't have to be a negative fan base. We don't have to be negative. Okay, listen. So, same thing. What you're talking. And I actually put this out. You might not even know this. I put this out on our TikTok. Prior to the draft, because I wanted to kind of point out, like, I'm going to do it here too. Have fun with these draft picks. So, like, I was upset with a couple of them. I was surprised with a couple of them, whatever it is. But in no way did I feel like the sky was falling. Did I get, like, we're doomed, anything like that. The thing I want to point out is, when in the last 30-some years, and I'm saying that because I'm 35, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, it's just, like, been forever for me. When have we ever gone into a draft where we're literally talking realistically about being able to comfortably grab BPA? When is the last time we were ever in a position where we're picking 29th in the stinking NFL draft, and
that's not a traded pick. That's where we ended up because of our performance.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So, like, you guys, I mean, how does that happen? It happens because we drafted well. We made smart, sound decisions the last few years. We've got players that are young and showing out. Dude, like, we're in a good spot. Like, there's no reason to feel like the sky's falling. There's no reason to be. Maybe we didn't get the guy you wanted. We didn't get the guys I wanted. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I wanted Kool-Aid McKinstry. I'm ecstatic we got Terry and Arnold. I think it's going to end up being a better pick. I just didn't think it was possibly going to happen. But you guys, dude, like, we've never been in a position this well here in Detroit since I've been alive, since you've been alive. It just hasn't happened. So have fun with it, man. Enjoy it. Like, guys, let's look at this as a positive. We're in a good spot. Like, we might get right back to where we were and better. We'll see, but there's a very good chance of it. When is the last time, as a Lions fan, you guys have ever been able to say that? That's all I'm saying. That's what I got to say on that. I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing, too, in terms of our draft picks. We were at 210, and Zach and I were kind of thinking maybe we would get a kicker because the Vikings took Will Reichert out of Alabama a few, like 5-10 picks before us.
Yep.
And, we were both sitting there like, oh, my gosh, like, this guy's, like, kicking 70% of his field goals from 50 or more and just nailing almost probably over 80% of them. So we're sitting there thinking that doesn't happen. And then we're sitting there and the Rams grab Joshua Carty out of Stanford right before us. And some part of me feels like we went BPA there because Carty was gone. The reason I feel that way is we talked about this. The Stanford held a pro day, and unless I'm mistaken, the reports I was hearing was, the Lions were in attendance for that, but they really only had one guy that was working out at their pro day, and that was Josh Carty, their kicker. Really weird to go to a pro day if only one guy is working out. You must really like him.
And it's a kicker.
It's Carty.
Yeah.
And he went one pick before the Lions were up. Half of me wonders maybe they pick him if he's there, but he wasn't, so we won't worry about that.
It doesn't matter at all because Jake Bates is a Lion.
That is true.
It doesn't matter at all because it's happening. I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen. I'm calling it right here, right now. It's happening.
Now we've moved off the draft.
Let's stay on the draft for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
You gave, like, what you feel. Give it a grade. overall draft grade for the Detroit Lions based on trades, based on everything. This draft from start to finish, what's your grade for the Detroit Lions?
I'm going to give them a B+.
Okay.
I think they did what they wanted to do, and I don't, I give them a B+ because part of me thinks there were some things that could have been addressed that they didn't.
Correct.
The wide receiver and the edge being the most glaring. But the players they got are very good players and going to be solid contributors at some point in their career here.
Yeah.
How about you? What do you think?
I'm first of all, I'm texting my wife, which is probably not a good idea while we're doing this. But I would say I'm going to give them an A-, a low A-, for the same reason. I think we come out of this draft. We made the trades we needed to get who we needed. I feel like, and I'm really happy with the Mekhi Wingo draft pick. I think right there, in my opinion, should have been a receiver. But I'm not Brad Holmes. The dude picked who he thought needed to be picked, and I'm happy with it. Yep. I'm just saying, if I had to grade it, I would have grabbed a wide receiver in this draft. I think it was deep at wide receiver. I don't know what's coming up next year, but now we have to go out and find somebody, I think.
Yeah, and don't sleep on guys as well. The draft has just ended about 10 minutes ago now that we're talking. Don't sleep on the undrafted free agents because that is going to start rolling right now. If you want to keep up on those pretty consistently, Tom Pelissero is a good guy to follow.
Yep.
He rolls through all of them. I'm looking right now. It looks like preliminary. The Chiefs and the Seahawks are moving pretty fast on the undrafted free agent market.
And we will too. We've shown that. I mean, we do it too. So,
yeah. So there's bodies that you add there, and they may not stick, but some of them do.
I'm honestly just waiting for them to give a package and end up with T. Higgins and Hendrickson.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, come on. You're going to say yep to that? You definitely aren't listening.
Just moving on.
Okay.
Okay, so we,
Tell me you're not listening without telling me you're not listening.
Yeah. So I just, I want to, just to wrap it up on the draft, I just want to say shout out to the Bears. Thanks for taking a punter in the 4th.
Okay, dude, story about that, right?
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and I think we're getting like right to it was the Bears pick was next, and they rolled across the board and it said the pick was in, but we hadn't seen it yet, and I'm like, man, I was like, I can't remember the other team, but there was 2 teams, and one of them I was like, man, it's these guys and the Bears. Those are the 2 teams that have. Oh, I think it was the Cardinals because they had so many picks.
Yeah, that won the draft so far.
I said, man, these 2 teams have won the draft. Goodness gracious, wow, they are really killing it. Then it said Chicago Bears have selected a punter in the 4th round. I'm like, never mind, take it back. So
I'm gonna be cordial here.
They did well.
Bears fans, you did do well. Rome Odunze is a great pick. I'm still not convinced on Caleb Williams, and man, is he the cringiest guy I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going to get into it. Go watch his post-draft phone call. It was cringy.
I'm very excited to cheer against him for the next however many years. That's all I'm going to say because I hate him.
Also, Vikings, good value. JJ, I think JJ is going to be good for you guys. I think
I'm scared of
Dallas Turner was a crazy value for you to get at 17, so congrats to you. Green Bay, I'm sorry I don't have many nice things to say for you. Honestly, I think you guys excuse my language. I think you guys shit the bed this time.
Yes. Okay.
You guys got good players. Sorry, I need to get this out first.
Okay.
I think you guys got good players. You got really good players. Arguably one of the best running backs in the draft you got. I'm sitting here thinking, why the hell are you drafting these players? You don't need them. You drafted like 4 safeties and like 3 linebackers.
Okay, so let's go back to. I'm sorry, I'm snorting in the mic. I'm laughing so hard because let's go back to the trade in the 1st round that happened. Right. Mm-hmm. So we traded up. We leapfrogged Green Bay. we took a pick from Dallas and we screwed them both. Like Dallas knew they were trading us. Green Bay didn't. Green Bay was obviously going Terry and Arnold. I mean, there's no way they weren't.
So pissed.
There's no way. So listen, we end up taking Terry and Arnold. Green Bay picks, what was it, a guard or something? They picked an offensive lineman, and it was literally like the 3rd best offensive lineman in the draft.
I think it's James Aren't I don't know. It's something out of Arizona.
It totally threw him off. Totally made him fumble that pick. And then the Cowboys got up, and the two guys on the offensive line that they were going to get that they traded back for were gone, so they had to get somebody else. So it was great. Oh,
I know.
Man,
I just don't.
It was awesome.
Really don't know what the Packers were doing. I think they could have used a corner, and if they wanted Terrion Arnold, I don't know why they didn't just get Cooper DeJean or Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did. And instead, they went and got an offensive lineman, and I'm like, oh, okay, like I guess they need offensive line, but I don't even think he was the best offensive lineman at that point.
I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. NFC North, I think we won the draft. I'm just going to say it. I really do. Based on what we needed and what we can fill, I would say the Vikings are a close second. I would say the Bears are a very close third, and I think Green Bay might be in like the lower 20s of the entire NFL.
I'm not ready to say we won the draft. I think
we got some dogs, dude.
The Vikings and Bears are the most improved in the offseason. And I think the Lions did enough to keep themselves ahead of the pack. That doesn't mean we won the draft or won
the NFC
anything.
North
it just
or
means
the pack.
We were the NFC North, the Packers or whatever.
Pack, no.
I think the Packers could still be good this year, but I'm gonna hold out hope that you guys are awful.
Yeah, and that Jordan Love regresses.
Yeah, I just don't. I think the only pick that I was like, wow, that's a good pick was their linebacker that they took second round was that Edgar Jones or whatever out of A&M.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was A&M or Mississippi State. I don't know, something like that.
And I didn't
they
pay
took a
attention to
linebacker,
him.
and he was probably one of the best. I still think they should have taken Peyton Wilson out of NC State if they were going to go linebacker, but to each their own.
I'm just gonna say, Kirby Joseph, you better keep right on what you said about giving that fan that was pointing and laughing at the Packers the cheesehead when they picked, because that was grand. That was fantastic.
I just want to shout out Zach for picking Frank Gore Jr. in his mock draft.
And he went undrafted.
He went undrafted. He did just sign with the Buffalo Bills.
Let's go, man. That's my second team, just so you guys know. Well, a far second, but still, I like Josh Allen. So, Anyway.
Yep.
We've talked about that before.
But we will move on. What are we looking like on time, Zach? Do we have time to do our mailbag here?
So what honestly, I think we're going to move off the mailbag. We'll ask you guys for some more next week. The problem is I'm looking at the mailbag. First of all, we don't have a lot of time. Second of all, a lot of these mailbag questions are not really answerable at this time because...
before let's not move off it because I think we could do a few.
Okay,
we didn't get yours and
then.
it's still applicable next week, we'll get to it. But we'll start. We'll do a few. And Michael Lucci's, I know
that's why you want to do the first question. That's why.
No, I'm not going to talk about that. He asked one about weird stuff in the draft and what the weird thing the Lions will do. We already know what happened, so we're not going to talk about that.
Right, that's what yeah.
His next one is what Lions jerseys memorabilia are in your collection, and what do you wear to games and why? And I think we answered the what do we wear to games and that already, kind of.
Yep.
Yep. Jersey. I wear jersey. I said Zach. I don't remember what you said, but jersey and the gray Michigan sweatpants because I like the winners. Yeah, we'll talk about. We can talk about quick some memorabilia. I don't really collect memorabilia. I think the coolest thing that I have maybe is like I purchased like a plaque a while ago. It's got some Barry Sanders cards on it and a photo of him. Zach has some stuff though. Yeah, and this, just so you guys know, this is a good time to kind of just let you know our backgrounds. Obviously, you can see this, like, it's not real, obviously, but we're not in a coffee shop that's vacant of all human life. It's not a coffee shop. It's actually club level. Anyway, so we're getting set up in the basement to actually have a nice studio that shows everything. And I do have some memorabilia. I mean, I got, a few autographs like Corey Schlesinger. I was a big fan of his. I got quite a few cards. I'm a big card collector. You are too. Oh, what were you saying today? You got a lot of Billy Sims signatures. I got a lot of Billy Sims signatures. We're actually giving away a Herman Moore one. If you guys would just hurry up and get us to 500 followers on X. Gotta smash that follow button, brother. Make sure you turn on notifications. Tuesday. Special teams, special plays, special players.
Oh, special Brendan. Anyways,
What's up, brother?
And I'm looking because I don't even remember. Oh, I got a mini helmet signed Braylon Edwards. Michigan picture of him. He signed a picture of him making the game-winning catch in third overtime against State. We've got quite a bit here. Brendan has actually been nice enough to lend me that Barry Sanders plaque. That'll be hanging up pretty soon. We've got quite a bit here. It's going to look pretty cool. We're working on it. So good question, man. I love those questions, Mike. Keep coming with those, man. We really like answering those because they're more personal. So
We already answered this one a little bit during the thing, but Lucci's also asked, will fans ever understand that Brad doesn't draft based on
yeah, I forgot.
Thank
that
you,
question.
Lucci's.
I forgot that question was in there.
We have already pounded the table for this one, so we're not going to dive into it. All I've got to say is some
You
of
know
you
our answer.
need to pull the stick out of your butt and kind of just trust
Come
the
on,
draft,
man.
okay?
Yeah.
Moving on.
We need an edge. We need an edge.
How do you feel about the Lions in the NFC North over the next 1 to 3 years following this draft?
Oh man. You answer that first. Let me think about it. Let me think about it. I got it. Let me think.
I feel good about it, especially now that we have those extensions done. I think we've got a few more extensions that need to be made in the coming years with Aiden Hutchinson, and Jared Goff is going to earn himself a deal. I don't see where we could go to upgrade the quarterback. He's already pretty darn good. And there's not going to be a ton of quarterback talent coming out unless you're going to reach for a Shadur Sanders or a Quinn Ewers next year.
Oh, you can't reach for Shadur. He's the betting favorite for
He
number
is the
one
betting
overall.
favorite for number one. I like Shadur. I don't think he's going to translate.
No.
I'm good because I think we're drafting for depth, and drafting for depth means you're collecting talent that's going to hopefully replace the talent that may depart because you have to pay.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're not going to be able to pay everybody. So you draft for depth. Those depth guys develop. They take the place of those guys. And I think we are finally in a place for sustained success. So I feel at worst we could be a second place team in the division if things go wrong.
Okay. I have my answer. I would say I feel really good about the next 1 to 3 years. Super good. Like we're in the playoffs every year. Like you're saying, it would take. I mean, I don't even see it being possible, even if we have injuries, to not make the playoffs at this point. I would say what makes me nervous is not nervous because I trust Brad Holmes, but he has got to keep going on this streak of draft picks. And I know we're picking for depth and we're picking later in the draft because of our success, which is a good thing. We want that. But I also hope that we can keep. I don't want to get complacent on our draft picks because eventually those guys will have to be starters because we're not going to be able to pay everybody. So if we hit on every single draft pick and everybody's awesome, we're going to run out of money. So it's one of those things where you have to keep coming in, keep bringing in young talent. You got to keep drafting well. But as long as we do that, and Brad Holmes has shown that he's going to do that, then I think we're in good shape for the next 3 years and beyond.
Okay, so I think we answer maybe two or three more, and then we'll save the rest of you guys for next week.
I'll let you run them down. I'm not clicking back and forth.
Yeah, no, that's
you
fine.
Go ahead.
So Brad Holmes Bulge, my captain, fearless leader.
my captain. Yes, he's gonna love that. By the way.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Let's go ahead and pump his head up more
Brad
than it
Holmes
needs.
Bulge. Anyway, shout out to him. Funny story. I actually did not know that there was an entry exam to get into the Bulge Army. So I changed my account name on Twitter to something Bulge Army related, and I was very crudely told that I was not approved to do so. And I said, that's okay, I'll be the villain. And I made an Ennis Rakestraw one, and it is a lowercase p Ennis. So Pennis Rakestraw Jr. That's me on Twitter. But so Brad Holmes, I know you liked my tweet, so you know who I am, but that's me, just so you know. Moving on, he asked, now that we know the draft picks, now that we know the draft picks this year, what do we see Brad Holmes addressing in free agency that he may have ignored in this draft to help fill out the roster?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. Hold on. Wide receiver.
I think we're going to align here.
Kicker. Maybe edge.
I don't see kicker. I think I'm going to say kicker if they bring Jake Bates.
That's what I'm talking, I guess.
That's a quick thing.
That's what I'm talking.
But I think wide receiver and maybe a little bit of defensive line help.
Yep.
But that's all I see. Wide receiver is probably the only screaming thing I think we need to help.
Mm-hmm.
You know, DJ Chark is still out there. Tyler Boyd is still out there.
I'm not upset about the DJ Chark thing. You know, I
Quintez Cephas is still out there. Just got released from prison.
So
I'm just kidding.
prison. Oh man, I'm too like stuffed up for this. So the one thing the reason I paused there with DJ Chark, to me, him and Quintez Cephas are pretty close to the same person, same player. I think DJ Chark is you're gonna say this is more proven. We know that he's had more snaps. He
just has more injury stuff is the problem.
You know, he bets on himself, not other teams. I can't believe he didn't get that one. But yeah, I either one of those guys would be fine. I like we were talking upstairs during the draft. I don't see them bringing back Cephas because if we bring back Cephas, why don't we bring back Cam Sutton? You know what I mean? So
yeah. Okay. No, we don't need to dive too much into it. You know, in terms of who we're gonna sign. He just asked what position we see them going with.
I got you.
I also just throwing out another random. We had another NFL legacy that I didn't even know was in this draft that just signed undrafted, and that's Tariq Owens, wide receiver, son of Terrell Owens.
Oh, I didn't know that one either.
With the San Francisco.
Oh, I thought you were
49ers.
gonna say like Jeremiah Trotter.
He's going
Jr.
to the
or
Niners,
something.
though. How about that?
Yeah, whatever. Let him have him.
Yeah. All right, so that's good there. We're gonna move on to the next question here. I think we'll do one more, maybe two. We'll move down. Bailey, PB, we'll get you next week. You had quite a few. I don't want to dive into all of those right now. Chad, UD3, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but we're just going to move into it. What do you think the Lions will do post June 1st in free agency? We just answered that, right?
Yeah, that's my thought, yeah.
Cool. So we'll move on from him, and we'll do my
this is what you wanted.
Friend Decker's Pecker.
This is what who's
going to be taking the number 1 jersey? I'm just going to say right now, it seems Jameson Williams' mom says that 9 is safe, so he's going to stay there. And I don't think Gibbs would move to allow the new jerseys to come out without moving to 1 because he'll have to pay a hefty fee to now get all of those new jerseys bounced back to 1 instead of he'll have to buy out all those.
You're going to say a new guy, aren't you?
Right? I think Terry and Arnold looks really good in the number 1.
Yeah.
And I think if he doesn't want the number 1, it could see him go to 23. I don't know if anyone grabbed that yet.
I don't know.
But Jerry Jacobs' former number, he was number 3 in college, so it would make sense. I think either him or Rakestraw goes to 1, though. It's one of those two guys. Do you have a prediction?
I think it's Arnold. I really do. I think he sticks with it.
Okay, how about
I'm saying it's on it. I've seen his jersey already. I think he sticks with that.
How about 0? He wants to know.
I don't know that 0 gets taken.
Who was the last one to wear 0?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't remember honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I
keep thinking it's Swift, but obviously
he was gone before.
You're wearing your Swift jersey and you're doing it on purpose.
No, it's Brian Branch.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Nobody can see the back. It's Brian Branch.
I just realized. What the heck, man? Okay.
My Hutchinson jersey is dirty, and I haven't gotten the new one ordered yet. Okay. I think
I'm like honestly, a child, man.
Honestly, after watching the draft today, I am extremely tempted to buy myself a Dan Campbell jersey.
Oh, those were awesome.
Yeah,
those were pretty cool.
I'm thinking about getting a Dan Campbell jersey.
Yeah.
Felt
like
so
it was
we don't.
2003.
I honestly don't know who's going to take 0. I don't have any prediction for you there.
I don't know that it happens.
It might be interesting to see a pass rusher in 0.
That would be cool. I could see that.
Doesn't Brian Burns wear 0?
Yep.
Yeah.
Brian Burns. Yep.
So I could see that happening, but I don't know a specific player. Sorry, Decker Pecker.
Yeah, shout out to him though, for real, because he's been like super busy on our X. He's been super involved with it. Keep doing that, man. We appreciate that. We see that. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
we notice.
He asked about free agents as well, and we already answered that. So we're gonna move on. Thanks guys for your questions. We will probably post another one this week and add on to some that we have. Big Nibs 81. We'll answer you next week, and Bailey PB will answer you next week. But we just want to, just because this is a lengthy episode, we want to, make sure we're getting out of here with everything we need to say.
Shout out Big Nibs, just so you know. We will answer yours, even though your question, two of the people have already been re-signed, but we'll answer it because it's a hypothetical and it's fun to do. So we'll get it.
That one might have been, already knocked out just because of the events that have occurred.
Yeah, we'll do it just for the fun of it, though. Anyways.
Why don't we do it now? Because we've already talked about it.
Okay,
So
let's go.
Big Nibs. Sorry, Bailey PB, you're going to be the only one left out this week, but we'll get you next week.
We got you, man.
Big Nibs 81. You said if we could re-sign only 2 of these guys among Hutch, Amon-Ra, and Panay, which are you signing and who are you letting go? I think I might sign Amon-Ra and Panay.
You suck. Yeah, the question was asked prior to the extensions. You're not gonna like my answer. You're not.
Prior to the extensions?
Yeah.
I think originally I said I would sign Panay and Hutch.
Okay, so you might think my answer is decent.
Okay.
The only reason, listen, I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a one of a kind. It's harder to find a tackle that's most likely going to go to the Hall. It's hard to find an edge right now that's got a motor like Hutch. Wide receivers, there's more people that play wide receiver on a team that you can count on than you can at edge or tackle.
Would you
That's
just
really what it
answer
is.
the question?
I'm trying to say it correctly. So, dude, that okay.
That is around it.
I am, because that is one of the hardest questions I would have to answer, and I hope that I never actually had to answer that. So hopefully
you probably don't have to answer it.
Hopefully they extend Hutch. So that's all. Yeah.
I think realistically we're re-signing all 3. I think like he said, the reason I would go with the 2 guys in the trenches is because wide receiver is such a, I don't want to say easily replaceable, but there's so many guys that come out of that position. You can almost find production out of.
And you've got multiple on the field
just
at any
about
time.
anywhere.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So Panay and Hutch at this point, I think mean more to the foundation of this team than Amon-Ra does in terms of play and production. That being said, I think we're going to sign all 3. I don't think any of them are going to be wearing anything but Lions gear.
We've set it up for passing, I guess.
So thanks, guys, for those questions. I'm sure we'll, like I said, Bailey PB, we got you next week. And if anybody else has any questions, feel free to get a hold of us on X.
When does Goff get extended, Brendan? Is it happening this year? Or are they just going to re-sign him?
I think it could happen in the off season or in the
after OTAs
summer
or
months somewhere. But I don't know. I can't answer that right now. It's just hanging in the balance right now. I'm not going to touch on that right now.
Yeah, I'm not nervous about it. It's odd to me that this is the second year in a row that both sides have mutual interest, but we just can't come to an agreement yet. Blah blah blah. This is the second year in a row, so I don't know. Who knows what's going on there? We'll see.
So we'll move on to our final thing we want to talk about. We've got our That Was Random segment to talk about this week. We've got a few things. Zach, you can go ahead and kick off the first one.
Yeah, so I wanted to touch last week. Our episode was based on the new uniforms that the Lions rolled out on the same night we did our show, and then after that, Denver rolled theirs out. They got absolutely trash uniforms, in my opinion. They look really stupid. Really stupid.
Broncos fans are trying to be like, well, I don't know why everybody's saying they're trash. They just took their old uniforms and cleaned up the things they needed to make them look good. And I'm saying they look
really
like
ugly.
garbage.
They look
First
really
of all,
ugly.
I think they should have swapped the helmet combos they did, and it would have looked a little bit more decent. Like they should have put the blue on the blue and the white on the white.
Yeah.
They didn't. They flipped those, and to me, it made it look dumb. And I just think the uniform overall looks like garbage.
And then to basically add insult to injury, the Denver Broncos said, "Hey, fan base, we absolutely really hate you because you have really crappy uniforms." And in the same day we release those, we're also going to trade for Zach Wilson.
By the way, if you're wondering, the Broncos quarterback room currently consists of Zach Wilson, Jarrett Stidham, and Bo
Unproven
Nix.
Bo Nix. Yep. Yeah.
Bo Nix is the best quarterback in that room right now, which is scary for them.
And then I saw the Giants alternate with the red
Was that
stripe.
confirmed? I saw the leak.
I don't know if it was confirmed or not, but man, if that is the case, I hope I hope they wear those to their Christmas parties because they look like ugly sweaters.
So if you guys are wondering, it's essentially just like their blue color jersey, but then with a horizontal red stripe going, like
Right
a thick
across.
red stripe going through the numbers across the waist.
Stupid.
And it looks dumb. Last one was Houston. Houston also.
I was just
released,
gonna
right?
say
Yep. Go ahead.
I didn't care so much for most of them. They really look a lot like to me. Atlanta Falcons and Houston Texans look the same to me. But I will say the All Reds are sick.
I was gonna say I disagree with you. I think they did really well. The All Reds are sick. I think those H-Town alternates are super cool. The
Don't like
helmet's
'em.
the helmet's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of plain, but I do like their alternates.
Okay. Well, I mean, everybody's allowed to have a stupid opinion once in
Okay,
a while.
shut
so.
up. Now we'll move on to the next one, which is kind of Lions related, and I saw this come across, and I wanted to make sure we got it put in this week.
Mhm.
Reggie Bush got his Heisman trophy reinstated and will be given a trophy to take back home. And that comes after the scandal that happened when he won it. What was that? 08 or something?
I
It
don't
was
remember.
somewhere in the 2000s. Early 2000s, mid 2000s. He won the Heisman for USC, and if you're not familiar, there was a bit of a scandal with him accepting money for, was it autographs?
Yeah, I think it was memorabilia
Yeah.
of
So
some
essentially, back then you couldn't make money off your likeness
sort prior
while
to
in college.
NILs. Yep.
Yep. So he did that, and after winning the Heisman, the investigation came out that had happened, and they stripped him of his Heisman, and it was basically like he never won it. They have now reinstated that, which I thought was going to come with the NIL anyway. Go ahead.
I'm trying to avoid having people unfollow us.
Why?
I disagree with giving it back to them. And the reason I do is because rules are rules. Everybody wants to sit here and say Barry Bonds cheater. I mean, okay, there was no rule back then for steroids. There is now.
Whatever.
No, what I'm saying is you have to follow the rules of what's there at the time. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me what the rules are now. Okay? Don't roll your eyes. I think I like Reggie Bush.
I'm just waiting for you to shut up so I can tell you you're wrong.
All right, go ahead. Tell me I'm wrong. What do you got to say? What do you got to say?
I'm just saying, like, don't bring up Barry Bonds in this conversation. He broke a rule that altered the way he played the game and helped him break records. Reggie Bush was just an electric athlete that did everything right to win that award. And because
Reggie Bush went to a team that was ready to go to a national championship or fight for a national championship, and he went there because he made money.
okay,
He could have ended up somewhere else.
That's cool. That's fine. Whatever. But it's just stupid. To me, it's stupid.
Always call me stupid now.
Yeah, you are stupid. To me, it's stupid because these players should have been able to make money off their likeness this entire time.
They should have, Brendan, but it was a dang rule.
Okay, but who cares? What a weird slavery type rule. And I'm not going to say that.
Man.
Well, I'm not going to say that just because it's a race thing, because white people
Okay.
too.
So
what I'm saying is
no.
these guys that are the governing body of college football say we own you, so you can't make money off your own face,
No.
your own stuff.
No.
We own you.
What you're saying is I'm gonna say slavery so that you have no argument. You can't say anything anymore. That's what you're saying. You're shutting down my chance to. How do I say
What are you
anything
gonna
about
say
that
now,
now?
huh?
Oh, God.
What are you gonna
Man,
say?
you played dirty there.
Cancel him. Cancel him.
If I get canceled, you get canceled. So
I don't get canceled. This becomes the Brendan Show.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, I'm just all I'm saying is I'm not fighting it. I'm not I just disagree with reinstating something that was already taken away.
I understand what you're saying. All jokes aside, I understand what you're saying, but you're wrong.
I thought you said all jokes aside.
That wasn't a joke. You're wrong.
You opened your mouth and it was a joke.
Well, you can shut your mouth when you're talking to me, okay?
You're not afraid of me.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, let us know what you guys think, and let us know why you think Zach's wrong about this on X. Feel free to reach out.
Hey, someone's got to be the martyr. That's all I'm saying.
If you need to send, ugly messages to him on Twitter, his thing is his @ is right above his head. Send him some stuff. Tell him how stupid he is.
I would say you could @ Brendan, but I'm not sure what his is anymore.
It's still the same @ My name is just Penis Rake
I just
Straw
wasn't
Jr.
sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you changed it. So, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's what I got for that as far as that was random. So.
Yep. So that's all we have for the episode. I think you have some closing comments.
Yeah, I just want to throw out there, I think we already kind of touched on it before. I just want to throw out there, we are trying to get to 500. And to be honest with you guys, I'm going to be completely honest and real out here. The reason we're trying to get to 500 is because we do want to monetize. So we want to monetize this because we want to keep doing things. Like I said, we want to get some things in the background. We don't want to have this like choppy, stupid background anymore. We want to continue to grow here. And we can do that with your help. So because of that, we're also going to be giving away some things. You can see that on our X page. You might as well go there and follow when you see it. And yeah, and just continue to what? What do you got now?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
That's about Reggie Bush.
No, it's about somebody who freaked out on Lions Twitter, who's going crazy again.
We need an edge.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I was saying is, you guys just, we need your help. You guys are the ones that keep us going, obviously. We're hopefully not talking to the wall here. And, follow us on YouTube. Check us out there. We're on Twitter. We're kind of getting into that. I also want to point out that this is literally our second time on video, so this will get better as we go. Hopefully you guys are part of this and grow with us. My side will get better. Like this frame.
We can only look so
This frame
good,
will get
guys.
better. This one won't, because it's always going to have his ugly mug in it.
I'll be wearing my Caleb Williams lipstick next week. And my pink phone case.
I came down here, I hooked up my computer, and I kept telling myself, do not mention Caleb Williams and his pink phone case and makeup. But anyways, we did. So here we are. Yeah, that's what I got for you guys. We will be back. It's going to be a short turnaround. We'll be back next week. And, we're going to start picking up again. We're going to have OTAs. We're going to have, like, rookie minicamp. We're going to have all this stuff to talk about. So
Yeah.
And the schedule's coming soon.
Okay. Cool.
Excited
I'm
for
excited for that.
I am excited for that. I'm going to decide what games I'm going to.
All right. We already know which one you're going to. Lions, Bills.
Yep.
Anyway,
You got it.
That's it for us, guys. Thanks for watching. And just to leave it off, as we always do, go Lions.
Go Lions, baby.